This is Dallas Personal Robotics Group's Robot Builders Night Virtual for April 25th, 2023. This meeting is recorded, so if there's anything that you don't want to say, don't say it. And you can also just hang in without video if you wanted to. All right, so we got a queue tonight, starting off with Ray, and then Doug D, and then Mike is going to give a talk on something. Okay, so Ray, go take it away.
Okay, I have a question on trigonometry, and I don't know if anyone will know the answer to this or not, but I'm going to ask anyway.
Okay.
Okay, so
oh God, this looks like trig.
okay, where are you? Yeah, this one probably represents it the best. Okay, I have a one of the time of flight sensors. This one is the BL53L5CX. So it can do, you can get like an 8x8 matrix of distance values, and it can be, it depends on kind of where you say what wall you point this thing at. So this, like from D to A here would be the wall, and I might be at, I guess this is considered an obtuse triangle. And the only things that I know are the
right triangle.
Mm-hmm.
The BD distance. Well, no, I don't know that. That's what I actually want to find out, is this height. And I know the BC distance, and I know this angle. And I was wondering if anyone knew a simple formula just to give me what the H is.
Wait a minute. What's the H? I don't see. Oh, okay.
It's
But
very small.
you know side angle side.
I know the distance B to C and B to D.
Okay.
And I know this angle, it's 55 degrees.
All right.
And I'm trying to find out what the H is, because
Well,
if you can kind of picture this thing,
okay. Yeah.
Doing 8 distance measurements along this line between this line and this line.
Okay.
If I look at the distances, okay, these are, from the sensor, from this point to this point, they're going to be decreasing because the distance decreases.
Gotcha.
If you actually scan it past being perpendicular, say from C over, to, I guess, the right side of A on my screen.
Okay. I got you.
Okay, so in that, the distances are going to, they're going to increase when you get to perpendicular. They're going to be the smallest.
Yes.
And then they're going to increase again when you go on the other side of perpendicular.
Okay.
So that's fairly easy to find. You just search for the shortest distance in a scan of 8, and you have that height, or the perpendicular
Yeah, right.
distance.
But is this in front of? That's easy too.
Oh, this is easy too?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Wow. Okay. Well, you know that the total angles are going to be equal to 180 degrees inside.
Well, yeah, in any of the right triangles.
No,
in any
triangle, right.
Yeah.
Okay, and you got that distance, and you got that, so you got a side, an angle, and a side. From that, you can calculate the other angle. But what you really want to know is, you want to know, if you know the angle from B to C, and B to D, I'm sorry, CBD, you know that angle, okay?
Right.
All right, then if you're looking for a 90-degree angle, you also, you can figure out what the other angle on the other side of that line is, right?
Which This
Where
angle
you,
here?
where, yeah, where, no, 30, where this 30 is.
Oh, here.
Yes.
Um, well, I only know the angle between the
You know the DBC angle, all
right.
right, and you know the CB, and you know the DB.
Yes.
All right, so you can figure out all the other angles in that triangle.
Um,
Yeah, you'd have to go to your book, but it's doable.
it is. Okay.
It's doable. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and
Okay.
and then from that you know what this angle, what the what the CB angle, the
CBA.
the DCB angle.
DCB. Oh, okay.
All right. So if you're looking for a 90 degree, then it would be that angle minus 90, 90 minus that angle, or whatever. In this case, you can see it's going to be higher than 90.
Yeah.
All right. So what you want to do then is get that 30 degree.
Mm.
Okay. And, well, excuse me, I'm making this more complicated than it is. If you know the CB
Mm-hmm.
distance,
Yep.
then you know the hypotenuse.
Right.
And so you should be able to do, I can't remember, I think it's tangent. And
Yeah, but I know this angle, not this angle.
no, but you know you can, if you just draw a right triangle, just
Yeah.
draw a right triangle, and then say, okay, I know what the hypotenuse distance is this.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a trig function. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure.
You know the CBA angle.
Yeah, you know the CBA angle, and you know the C.
So the BCA angle is going to be 50 degrees, is it not?
BCA. Okay,
Sorry.
this one. The only angle I know is between.
Sorry,
well-
60 degrees. The BCA is going to be 60 degrees, is it not? 60 plus
Well-
30 plus 90.
In this example, it is here, but I don't know what this angle is in.
Right,
my-
so you have to
in my
get.
setup. I only
So
know
that's
this
why
angle.
That's why you got to figure out. What you really want is the DCB angle, because if you know that and you assume a 90 degree, 90 degrees of it, you should know the other part of it, right?
Yeah, but I've looked at this several different ways, and it's difficult to do. I can't figure it out. It looks simple, but
Hmm.
there's missing something. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, if you're using right triangles, you can use Sakatoa, stuff to figure out what the angles are based on two sides.
Hmm.
If you know two sides and an angle on a right triangle. But that only applies to right triangles. It doesn't apply
No, I think you'll find that
Obtuse.
that any triangle, the total angles are 180 degrees. I'm pretty sure that's true. I got to
to. That
notice.
is true. But the other trig functions, like it assumes
No.
it
Yeah.
assumes a right triangle.
Right. So.
Yeah.
The question is. All right. So, if you know that other angle, the BDC angle.
EDC. Oh, I don't know that one. All I know
Yeah. Well,
is
that's what I'm saying.
this one.
You know that one. Oh God. You can. If you know the side angle side, you can get the other side. Okay?
Oh, this side?
Yeah. I'm pretty, yeah, so, and then from that you can get the angles. And then from that you can impose a 90 degree angle and get the complement of what in this case is 30.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that, once you know that it's 30, You know, you wouldn't know that one. Well, you're going to see the 60 on the other side.
Yeah, this would be 60 up here.
Right, but no, but I'm saying when you go up from, if you go from straight up from C, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you know that angle in there enclosed would be 60.
Would it?
So Ray, are you trying to find your distance from the wall?
Yeah, like this is the DC.
Yeah.
A would be the wall.
So
And-
what
but
happens
the-
if your robot is not parallel to the wall, but is angled towards or away from the wall?
That's what he's trying to look at.
Yeah, you get a situation like this where if I'm not scanning across perpendicular from the wall, I'm going to end up with a situation where I'm either kind of in front of or in back of looking at the wall with respect to the robot. So
Yeah.
so this is the case, I guess. You could say if the robot sensor is here and it's kind of perpendicular to a line that goes right down the center here of those two lines, then that's what my scan angle is going to look like. Because this, like I said, the only thing I know is from the scanning, I know this distance, the DB distance, and the CB distance, because it's the sensor picks it up for me, and I know how far those are separated apart, which is 55 degrees. But
So I put a link in the chat, which I think goes to a web page that probably answers these questions. I scanned it real quick, but
Yeah.
okay.
it looks like it's got all the trig functions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then here's the side angle. This one,
Okay, I gotta stop sharing because I can't see you.
okay.
Okay, go ahead.
And let me get on there. Where am I? Not there.
Okay, so in the chat, Omni calculator.
Okay. And
Looks like it's got a handy function to put numbers in and test them too.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it
And
basically talked about the two links and an angle. You should be
Yeah.
able to figure the rest out.
Yeah, and here's the side angle side. If you go to that one, that'll
Okay.
talk about that formula.
Okay, let me bookmark
I'm not
this.
talking about how long it was ago that I actually did this stuff, but
Yeah, I know. I think it was back when I was in high school.
I'm talking that too, and we won't tell about how long that is.
Yeah. Let me put it
Been
this
a
way.
while, so I didn't
Yeah.
see that. Yeah, I heard of the SAS theorem. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, that should help. Well, see, I wonder if this one does depend on, it being perpendicular to P. I'll take a look at it.
It
though.
looks
Well,
like they're not right angles on the example
Yeah.
I quickly glanced at.
Oh, which one? The one that Doug
On that
suggested? or
page,
one that
I
was-
looked at a couple of triangles. None of them were right triangles.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those two links should help you. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so the basic idea is, if your sensor is looking forward or to the rear,
Yep.
then you're going to have the situation where you just talked about, where you're going to take the smallest reading and your side and your largest reading, and then you'll have a side angle side.
Mhm.
And then from that it'll all fall out. Then the other one is where you actually have the 90-degree angle included in your scan. Then it'll be the minima, and and you just grab it. And that one is, you can tell that one because it'll be a minima.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. Scanning
yeah.
through the 8 values,
Yeah.
the smallest one is the perpendicular distance. So.
Right, or close to it. It won't be
Yeah.
guarantee it's 90, but it'll be close to it.
Yeah, the closest one. So
Yeah.
kind of hoping that'll be good enough.
Yeah. So the real question would be, is if let's say the minimum is on the second read,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you might find to get it. You might have to do some calculations to make it more accurate. Where if it falls dead nuts in the fourth, fifth read, it might be, that's good enough.
Yeah, and sometimes you can have two that are they'll be identical.
Yeah.
You know, so you could say, okay, well that's somewhere between the two.
Yeah.
I guess you don't know exactly because it's only, well, the readouts are in millimeters, up to 4,000 millimeters or 4 meters.
Yeah. Well, that was a nice way to open the meeting, Ray. Good.
Scientific question.
Yeah, nice scientific question. All right.
I didn't wear my white coat or anything. But,
okay. All right, Doug. You want to?
Okay.
So,
I have relatively minor update.
Okay.
I've actually started playing with my robot stuff. And,
cool.
And I just wanted to mention, my wife said not to make a big deal about it, but my wife is helping me with the design. So busted you all.
Pretty good.
You may remember that I've been working on my steampunk robot, and I was going to use a wooden box for the robot.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a bunch of wood over here that used to be right behind me, and now it's off camera. But my wife said, why don't you just get a chest, which is basically what I was making. I mean, this box is about the size of what I was making. And that looks very steampunkish because it's reusing something that was available at the time. So that has sped up my box production. It's still in wood, so that's good. And I can get on to the other parts. And in order to say that I actually accomplished something, I started working on the battery part, which is supposed to be on the side of the backpacks. And these are the batteries, which are basically hard to see in this picture, but it's basically something with lights and animation with the bubbles blowing through there, and they're pretending to be the power source for all of my backpacks.
Okay.
So I accomplished something. Yay!
Look great. I'm going to give you. I'm giving you a black star, John. Doug. Yeah. That's good.
Any star is great.
Okay.
I ordered some stuff off of Amazon because I find that I was getting ready to put my wheels on it, and I did not buy the hubs to link the wheels to the axle. So I ordered the wrong size, and now that I'm trying to use it, way wrong size. 3 millimeters doesn't go on a 10 millimeter axle. So in a couple of days, I'll have those, and hopefully by next time, I'll have motors attached to wheels, which may be attached to legs, which may be attached to the box.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you, because it's been a while since I saw the big picture. So is the box part of the robot, or is the box open up and the robot crawls out of it?
The box is the robot.
Okay.
The intention is that the box will be attached to my back and somewhat resemble a backpack because it's just sitting on my back.
Okay.
And I'll have a wooden slat on my back, which may or may not have other things in it, such as a time machine looking thing and some dials. And that's what the backpack part is, what the pretend batteries are going to be on. So it's supposedly powering the whole thing. And then you take and you pull the dog off. I originally was thinking about lowering the dog with a strap using one of my motors, but at 55 revolutions per minute, that could take a minute to get down. And so I might just pick it up and drop it on the ground and then let it go. But once the box is on the ground, there's going to be wheels, like legs, and wheel. So the front legs will go down, and then the back legs will go down, which raises the robot into moving mode. And then it will have some sort of thing, which is not yet fully developed.
Okay.
And probably a fuzzy tail. It was almost a bear at one point, but we decided to stay with the dog.
Okay. Okay. Well, okay, I got a better feel for it now.
Okay.
Yeah, I like your idea of just putting it on the ground personally. I like that because, yeah.
I thought it would be more of a wow factor if I was standing there and it just kind of started lowering itself and then morphed into a dog by putting its legs down and started running around. And,
well, yeah.
The other thing that I was thinking about that I wasn't originally planning, so I hadn't mentioned it to y'all before, but I found that you could have VNC on your phone. And
Okay.
recall, VNC is how I controlled my telepresence robot.
Right.
So if I had a mobile hotspot that would be Wi-Fi, such as T-Mobile or whatever, you Wi-Fi over cellular, then the robot and my phone could both attach to that same Wi-Fi, and I could use VNC to move the robot when I don't want it to be.
I'm not so too crazy about that idea.
Yeah, I'm not 100% crazy because I think it might be actually better to use Bluetooth.
Yes, I agree. And the reason why I say that is you ought to talk to David, Ackley, or Carl about their trip up to, I think it was
service area.
Yeah, someplace
That's what I'm
where,
worried about.
and there was just, they had a cell phone and it just was worthless because everybody else had a cell phone, and there was no bandwidth at all.
Yeah.
So I would think that you would be better off with Bluetooth.
I probably would. I admit that I've never played with Bluetooth, so it's a learning experience, but maybe I'll be able to pull it off. I know people around here have done it, so I can ask questions if I need to.
There's a lot. First of all, I believe Adafruit has some sort of Bluetooth app that you can use it for all sorts of control things.
Right.
So check Adafruit for one.
Yeah, that's good.
And then the other one is the MIT has something that MIT has, and probably Kareem could tell me what it is. It's an app. It's an app generator.
App Inventor.
App Inventor, yeah, which is pretty simple to use.
Yeah.
So but like I say, there's probably a gazillion Bluetooth apps for controlling things like RC cars.
Yeah, I thought as much. I just hadn't got to the point of actually looking yet.
Yeah.
I only started talking to myself today or maybe yesterday that this whole Wi-Fi thing is probably not a good idea because I'm going to be in non cell phone areas, and I'm always in Bluetooth range.
Yeah.
So Bluetooth is the way to go. I've seen lots of examples. I've just never focused on them, and I'll just have to learn how to do it.
Yeah, I really do think that's probably the way to go.
One other question I had: has anybody bought any Raspberry Pis lately? Boy, they're expensive. I looked on the internet. They used to be like $30 to $40, $50 maybe, $100 and something, like $150 for a Raspberry Pi 4. I mean, you get a computer for that. Why bother with a Pi?
No, the reason is they're selling Raspberry Pi 4 compute modules to their bigger customers, but nobody else can really buy. They're not really giving distributors Raspberry Pi 4s.
Made it hard to get.
Now, one of the things you might check is I have.
Right now, but
Okay, I was going to say I've seen some available out of Parallax. Like every once in a while they'll send me an email saying they got some, but I don't know if they've got any now. I'm just saying.
I think they're few and far to find.
Yeah, and I did read something where Sony made a big investment with Pi Foundation. Raspberry Pi Foundation for bringing AI, because Sony has had a AI application, and I think it's called. I don't even try to give you the name because I'm not sure. But anyway, it's a console or something that they use. It's not Google, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they're in cahoots now with Raspberry, and they're thinking that maybe even the end of this year there'll be a Raspberry Pi 5, which will have will have an AI engine capability. Yeah.
Cool.
So I mean I'm sure some of this is all speculation, but I did see the news article.
Right.
And so anyway.
I have to admit that I focused just on Arduino and Raspberry Pi throughout my entire short robot career. So I know there's better, faster microcomputers that are actually not that expensive. That at some point I need to start SPs and all them other things. But
Yeah. Well,
this is where I started, so I'm kind of focusing on it until I get something actually.
I think I think you're doing a very smart thing. You got two lines. I made this decision way back when I started off. I said I wasn't going to do anything with, oh God, what are those things called? I don't even know what they're called anymore, but they're the ones that, they used to be really big. Anyway, I said, I'm not going to do any of Parallax's stuff because it's funky. I'm not going to do any of these, God, I can't think of what they call them.
NXPs, maybe?
No, it's not NXP. They're Microchip makes them. Yeah, they're not Arduino. They bought Arduino, basically bought
I kind of think I know what you're talking about. I
But
think it started with an S, and it's very popular for a while.
Yeah, but yeah.
That stuff?
Talking about the Amiga stuff?
No. It's a chip. It's a little chip that was kind of like an 8-bit processor, though I think they have 16 and 32 now. But it's what their main thing is. I'm sorry, I can't think of it.
It's not the Blue Pill or Micro.
No. Now,
AVR?
no. It's what I'm saying is I decided to go with Atmel, and an STI, and Raspberry Pi. Those are the only three things that I was going to check on. Everything else, sorry guys, Doug's not going to live long enough to ever learn how to do all that other crap. So, and even now, what's happened is since Arduino has gone into the teensies and stuff like that, if it's just power that you need, just speed, just get you a teensy.
You know what? A teensy. Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Yeah, I mean,
and several others are a lot faster than the Arduino. But
oh yeah, and Ray has done the same thing, but he's gone with
ESP32s.
Yeah, ESP32s, which perfectly great. I mean, that's another. It's actually got some advantages. All right, so the question is, just what do you want? Just focus down on a couple of things.
There you go.
Yeah.
The Pico.
Yeah. Pico is another option. The problem is you get like me. I have some Picos. I have some ESP32s. I have some what is it before the 32? 62, 32, whatever it was,
8266?
Yeah, 8266. And I've got Nucleo boards out the poop. I mean, a lot of them. But it just gets to the point where it fragments your efforts to learn anything, okay,
Right.
and get something done. So I do think you need some sort of microprocessor to go with your Linux machine or your Raspberry Pi. I mean, I know we've had people on that want to do everything on a Raspberry Pi, and I think it's possible to do that.
The Raspberry Pi is good for the brains, but it's not good for the hardware.
Yeah,
You can have Arduino or something like that.
Right, and the 2040 might be the answer to that. It's same, you don't have to worry about voltage differences and stuff. There are boards out there, a lot of them, that they connect to a Raspberry Pi, and they essentially bring in a microcontroller. And if you got a good one, they'll even buffer all the outputs. so that if you screw up, kill you won't kill your Raspberry Pi or your main processor. So just something to think about. Okay.
I made the smart move of buying several extra Pis and several extra Arduinos when I first started. So I'm not in a shortage section right now, but I am focused because that's the hardware I've got.
Yeah. So you got a couple of 4s then?
Right.
Yeah, you're good. Well, I've got 3 4s,
Yeah.
and you know,
That's
honestly, I have one on a robot and one that I use as like a Linux machine. And the intent was to use them with the Oak D Lite. So that's where I'm using them.
Yeah, that whole visual stuff is something I've got to get to at some point,
Yeah.
but it's down the road. I want to do audio next, like voice recognition, voice synthesis,
Mm-hmm.
as part of this robot, if I get to it in time.
Mm.
We'll see.
Okay, cool.
That's all I had.
All right. Let's see. The next one was Mike. You got anything? Go.
For me?
No, other Mike. We're going to have to go Mike W now.
Yeah. Yeah, so a couple of weeks ago, I blew up my processor board and ended up, first of all, I was putting everything away and going, oh, I quit. And then a couple hours later, I decided to replace it. Okay.
Yeah.
So back in the game. But I had to, when I looked for the processor board, I couldn't find the one that I had. The one I had was a Arduino BLE for Bluetooth sense, which had extra sensors on it. And I was able to get a Arduino Bluetooth BLE board without the sensors. And the extra sensors that I had that I was using was the LiDAR, the time of flight LiDAR, for homing in on the can before I grabbed it. So I worked on using the sonar sensors to replace that, and it worked pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
It took a while to get it, just point them in the right direction, and it works. So I think the LiDAR works a little better, but it works. And then, so now my 6-pack robot, he can do the job, collect the cans, but he ends up bumping into stuff. I'm using the sonar sensors also for obstacle avoidance, and I'm still working through it, trying to debug it.
Mm-hmm.
And but it looks like it's doable. That's
Okay.
good.
Okay. Sounds great.
One area that I'm having trouble on is accurately detecting when I go into the goal, go past the edges of the board where the goal is. Basically, what I do is when I'm traveling, I point the sensors at the walls, the side walls, and I can measure the distance to the side walls, and I'm able to continuously and periodically update my X position by just reading where I am between the walls. Of course, if there's cans there, then of course it says I can't do it, and it just estimates it. But one thing I notice is when I grab a can and I go to the goal, sometimes it detects cans as the goal if they're placed just right, because it looks for a restriction in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I've been working on things to make that a little better. But then I was wondering, what if I had a sensor that pointed straight up, and notice that you go under the board over the goal, and so I bought a light sensor, but I haven't tried it or activated it. But I was worried if I pointed up, then ambient light's going to really mess it up.
You can use one of those infrared sensors for that. That it should work pretty good.
Oh, come on, Ray. You can do better than that. Tell them how you handled that problem.
Oh, well, it's just a simple switch. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. I could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I could put another.
Let's see if he'll show you. Here he goes. Here he goes.
Yeah, this is my goal switch.
Yeah.
So it's just basically a simple switch with a
Tie wrap.
A tie wrap, basically hot glued to the lever, and when it goes underneath it, it triggers it and tells it to stop, and so I deposit the can. Oh, the other thing, are you once your robot drops a can off, are you leaving your cans there?
Aren't you supposed to?
You don't have to.
You don't have to. You can pull them away.
You can pull them away. Most people pull them away.
Yeah.
Oh, I just let it collect a little pile of cans. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because you're right. If you're looking for an opening and you start stacking cans in it, it's not going to look like an opening anymore.
Well, I don't look for the opening. I just know where the opening should be, and I head in that direction.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I know where I am in the x-axis, or away from the walls, and so I basically get in the center and just go straight. Because I'm using an IMU, a nursery unit, to make sure I'm pointing the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've been making errors doing the goal, so yeah. So that messes me up a lot of times because it'll drop the can off early, and then it's in the middle of the arena.
Yeah.
I guess if you do that, it's not, doesn't count.
Yeah, you have to. No, and if you put it in the other goal, it doesn't count either.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
And if I knock a can over, then I can't ever pick it back up. So,
the simple clause. I mean, you might be able to push it, but mechanically it may just get stuck under your robot and
so
change its orientation.
Trying to go to the goal. So, I mean, basically, most of the time it does the job and it puts them in the goal, but sometimes it messes up.
So, look at that. Well, Mike, I think about what Ray showed you, because I think that's a good solution to your problem. I think that's one of the best I've seen. Yeah, I haven't seen anything better. I mean,
works in all lighting conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I like cheap. That looks cheap.
Yeah. And now, where you have a spinning LiDAR, that's what Scott does, and there he gets a really nice signal that tells him it's 36 inches or whatever, 35, and that's a different story. But for simple, you can't beat what Ray just showed you. That's I think the best way on it.
Yep.
What was that? I missed. I was out of the room. What's the best?
Well, I saw you had your hands on all your robot wiring. I saw you carrying it around. Yeah.
I'm moving back in this room. I'm moving out of the shed.
Yeah. No, Ray was just showing his lever switch with a zip tie that he uses for detecting the overhead bar.
Little micro switch. Switch.
Small switch. Yeah, I've kind of probably done what I shouldn't have done. From the old platform to the new platform, just about everything has changed. The processor, the camera, the motor driver, the motors, the frame, pretty much everything has changed. And I guess I kind of made the assumption that it would be really easy to bring it over to the new platform. And
yeah. We all make that same mistake.
What's that?
We all make that same mistake over and over, and it's not easy.
That's my problem.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if you remember Carl's outside vehicle for the for the Robo Magellan or Robo Columbus, whatever we're calling that contest, the outside contest or outdoor contest.
Yeah.
It would go to the can, or not go, well, not go to the can, go to the cone and get so close and then just stop. That's what mine's doing now, because I have two markers on either end,
Yeah.
and as it goes through the goal post obstructs the view of the markers. So instead of just 2 blobs, it looks like 4 blobs, and it doesn't. I don't have the logic in there right now to say, okay, if you have 4 blobs, pick the 2 biggest ones, and they have to have a different, very different X value, because they're on opposite sides of the course, and it's just like one thing after another. It's kind of like, oh, come on, So I'm switched the cameras from the original Pixie, because I had 2 of them, to the OpenM VH7, and they're programmed very differently, and I think the OpenM VH7 has a lot more capability, but it's I had worked all the bugs out with the other camera, because that used to work, but the Pixie Cam is not, nobody's ported it over to the ESP32, and there's some issues there. Occasionally the interface will just hang up, and I don't have the time to get into it to figure out what it is. It's it's still a SPI interface, and the voltage level should be okay, because it'll, the original Pixie would work with 3.3 volt logic, but occasionally it'll just, like, doesn't see it at all, not reading it, and so I had to yank that out, because I had planned to use that originally, and actually tried to do it on the outdoor contest too, but then had to switch it over to the other one, because there's still an issue with it, and I don't see anything on where someone's tried to use it on the internet or Hackster.io, and so it's just, I guess either there's a known issue and people are staying away from it, or that combination ESP32 and original Pixie.
Well, you remember in my case how I handled all of that was I put a small Mini Pro, and so the Pixie's talking to the Mini Pro, and and then there's serial communication from the Pixie, from the Mini Pro to whatever you're using.
Right. Yeah. And I thought about and I thought, okay, well, I could just rip out the ESP32 and stick in like like a Nano or something.
Yeah.
And maybe it would work, but then it's like, oh god, then I lose all the telemetry stuff from the ESP. And,
you bought a Pixie, you said, a Pixie Cam?
Oh, he's had
one. The first one I bought, like in 2015, I think. The original. They're not the Pixie 2.
You're gonna use it this competition? You're gonna try to use it this time around?
No, because of issues interfacing with the ESP32.
Right.
I'm going to use an OpenM VH7, which has worked great for the outdoor contest, and hopefully I can get it to work much better on this. But it's just a thing of, okay, I've got to have additional logic in there now to accommodate that. And actually, what all of that was to try to get rid of a LiDAR. So I had a LiDAR on a servo, the Benawaki. In fact, it's still on that unit, and it's slow. It takes, each individual scan is, 180 degree scan. It's probably like maybe 20 seconds or something to get the whole thing. And if I do it slow enough and accurately enough to basically find the opening for the goal and be able to orientate the thing. Well, maybe it's not 20 seconds. I forget what it is. It seems very slow, but it's a long time between cans to add up. So,
By the
yeah.
way, I figured out what I couldn't remember before. The one that I said I would not touch. It was PICs. PICs. I wasn't going to touch PICs.
Oh, pick. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
That bell.
Yeah. That was the one I couldn't figure out, couldn't remember because I haven't thought about them in so long.
Yeah.
All right. Ed's jumped on. I wanted to say again, everybody, you remember we're going to have a practice session this upcoming Sunday. I couldn't get on Saturday, and I believe it's from 10 to 3. So you can come in anytime in that. We'll set up. You'll be on the actual floor, and under the actual lighting conditions. We might minimize the courses because some of the courses use a lot of tape and take a long time to set out. But there'll be a 6-can. Probably won't be. I don't know if it'll be Scott's new one. Carl said he was going to go pick it up, but I haven't heard news on that.
Is it in the same room where we used to do all the contests?
Yeah, the interactive room.
Okay.
I booked that one on purpose. Saturday they got this big. They're doing some sort of big printing event where you carve it out on a piece of plywood, and then you put a big piece of paper. You ink it up and put a big piece of paper, and then you literally run a steamroller over it.
Steamroller.
Yeah, well, not a steamroller, but
a
asphalt roller.
Yeah.
And then when they get finished, you get this beautiful poster, and they do it every year. So anyway, so Mike, anything else?
No, but I would like to go to the practice session.
Okay, all right. So, do you know where the makerspace is?
Yeah, the Carrollton.
Yeah, it's over by where Tanner's used to be.
Yeah, I went there once.
Okay. Yeah, you might have to wander through. We'll put a sign on the door with a phone number that you can call to get in. Okay. Yeah, you can call. It might take a few minutes to walk over there, but we can get you in. Usually somebody will let you in, but every once in a while you get stuck out there. Okay, Harold, you've been quiet. You got anything to add?
Well, no, not really, other than the fact I missed I lost my phone in plain sight, and that's crazy. The other thing is from 10 to 3, if I were to invite, like, my wife, and she's watching three young fellas, if I were to invite them out from 10 to 3, it'd be all right if we have enough badge to give them a tour of the place, while they're there?
Yeah, I should be able to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's no problem. I mean, it's not like I think we're going to be overrun with people,
Yeah.
So it's just a few people that are going to be in there, and we'll take if anybody wants to see a tour, that's no problem at all.
Yeah. Because the only real robot I'm going to be entering is Jimbot, and that is a skid steer bot that's powered by a Circuit Playground Express and a Cricket, and we'll be doing some scratch.
Okay.
It's not. I mean, it's not real smart, but it does work all by itself.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. I do have a secret weapon though. I've got some spinners on that, so I've got to work on. And you got to have wheels and tires. And if the tires are stationary, you just can't possibly win. So we're gonna see how well they work. I expect they're not going to work all that well, but going for the bling factor. Anyway, so it should be So I'll be testing out my 90-degree turns and going out and back and working through those things and see if I can't get somewhat of a thing that will make it at least all the way around.
Yeah.
And make it out and back close. something, and it's like I said, it's not going to be real smart. So fault tolerant is or robust is not going to be the word for this thing. So
Well, that's the idea of this is we have contests that are fairly simple, and we have contests that are kind of hard. But I really enjoy Foursquares. Some people think it's sort of like watching paint dry on a wall, but I actually enjoy seeing it run. And
yeah. I was shamed last time when I had a 10-year-old doing it and I didn't even bother.
Yeah.
And I had that time to get Zemo up and running again, and because that's my rover.
Yeah.
And rover would probably do really good because just all the wheels are connecting up and it can literally turn in place on a dime and keep its center right where it is, and it would probably do really well. I just don't have, with all the other stuff going on, I have not made time to fire that thing back up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Everybody's busy. Okay. Well, I hate to get into this deep subject, but I'm gonna poke the bear. Harold, how's the Twitch going?
Twitch is going all right. I'm averaging just over 5 viewers per session, and that's 5. That's an average of the average viewers over the session. So each session has an average to it.
Okay.
And over 30 days, they take the 30-day average of all those averages. Mm-hmm. And so I'm between 5 and 6 people there. I get some. What now?
I was going to sit in Friday night. She was on vacation.
I was on vacation. Yes, I was.
I actually tuned in.
I was on. I was with Friday night. They've been Rhode Island. Having. And I believe we were having some lobster rolls or something about that time we were doing that. So that wasn't going to happen. But normally, if you look at the views, so that means people that have dropped by. Mm-hmm. Maybe they stayed for 2 minutes, maybe they stayed for 30 seconds, maybe they stayed for the whole time. If they stayed for the whole time, they get more into that session average. I get views like somewhere between 20 and 50 views. It's a pretty big thing. I haven't really done the average on the number of views. Mm-hmm. So somewhere between 20 and 50 people drop by almost every single session that I have. And sometimes they stay, sometimes they don't.
Does that count for the recorded ones too, or just
they're recorded too? If you watch the recorded ones, that will add to that view count. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Sounds like you're making progress.
Oh, a little bit. You try to go and do, and you just, you don't know what makes people want to stay. I mean, on Mondays, the coding thing, I thought we had a couple of them that went really good. So I said, hey, this coding thing's going to work. And this last coding Monday that I had was, there was like 4.2 people on the session average. We still get plenty of views, and they just no one want to hang around.
Yeah.
You just don't know what people are going to tune into and want to hang on to, and all those kinds of things. So I'm trying different things. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, 1 second.
So, Kareem, are you going to bring some outrageously bizarre robots to the competition, or what?
I'm still trying to get the team to reuse their world's robot. Timing turned out to be really bad. The next 2 weeks are all AP exams, and the guys that I have, like, some of them are taking 5 exams.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So
yeah, I think the person who's taking the least is probably just taking 2, but most people are like.
You got some overachievers there, don't you?
We do, yes.
I think that's awesome. So it took a long time because I know how these on-demand printing things work. If I want to print one shirt, it takes forever to get it to me because I got a bitch plane to get it. I finally got them to send me my shirt, and this is what my t-shirts look like for my channel. So you've got HP there.
Yeah.
That's my logo with the Herald Pulsar. And then we have our current, and I think this is kind of a thing here we got going on. We make stuff, break stuff, and then learn stuff. And that's
That's
And
your loop.
and so
Cool.
that's the kind of deal. So, so I do have some merch. I'm going to talk to a cousin of mine to see if we can get them made faster. You know, that was through a Spring or Teespring,
Mhm.
and it took them like I ordered that January 31st. I got it a week ago, maybe.
You might try. You might try. I don't know if the cost would work out for you, but the one we use is. Give me a second. I'll printful.
Printful. I did a few. I've used a few T-shirt shops. The problem with this is if I wanted to order, like if I was going to throw a convention or a rally or whatever you want to call it.
No, these are one off. These will be one off. Yeah.
Okay.
It's PRINTFUL, I believe.
Let me write that down because I'll check that out because my go-to is Custom Ink because they have some stores local, like in Walmart.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's a little. Their website's a little funky, and you might find that the costs are, might be high for what you want for a T-shirt. But I've been real good. They've been real good about getting the mugs that I order.
Yeah.
When by the time when I order them, they seem to come in about a week.
That's pretty good because what I was saying, when I do conferences and I've done, I say conferences, the whole magic conventions and conferences and that kind of stuff. My go-to has been Custom Ink only because there's some Walmarts and things around the area that I can drive to the Walmart and feel the shirt and look at the shirt and know what that is exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then order it up and know that in 2 weeks' time I'm going to get 500 shirts delivered. And that's the only thing I do. I know that's going to happen. On this is a one-off, and I got to figure out how do I get a one-off and any kind of reasonable time because I really don't want to advertise Teespring when it takes 3 months to get a T-shirt.
Yeah, well, this is good for a one-off, but also they run a deal where I think you can get 2 samples made. It might be more than. You can have 2 orders, I think, of a sample, and you can have up to 3 items in the sample order. This changes, so I might be a little off. And it has free shipping on those.
Okay, cool.
So
you guys get the idea, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how successful I'm going to be. I certainly don't want to sink, $1,000 into a bunch of T-shirts, which I may never only ever sell 1 or 2, or I don't know the sizes. I don't know all that stuff. Haven't been through this process before. It's just a really complicated, unknowable thing, and that's money I could be spending on something else more exciting and fun, like a robot or 2.
Yeah. DPRG used a local printer when they did a big run for all our shirts, but knowing the sizes, like what we did is we had pulled everybody in the group, got everybody's sizes and doubled it, and then did it. What we didn't realize was there's more mediums in the world than we had in the club at the moment, and we ran out of medium shirts almost immediately.
Here recently, we call extra large developer medium. That's what we call that.
Developer.
And we were running out of larges and extra larges faster than we were running out of mediums. We had lots of mediums and small stuff.
Yeah.
And I still didn't get it right. Like I'm saying, as soon as you think you got it nailed, man, something's going to change, and you don't have it nailed. You just don't.
No. Okay.
People are just too random, and not random, not random as we think we can make a random number on our computers. I mean, truly random.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the deal there. Thanks for asking me. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. So, oh God, hey Harold, look at Michael. He's starting. His background is starting to look like he might have a YouTube channel or something there.
Yeah.
It's almost organized.
See my
good start to an addiction there, Michael.
my 3D printer farm back there.
Yeah.
This is I'm moving back out from the space shuttle back
Yeah.
into an actual room. So in the house, I'm back in the house now. I wanted to share something though.
That's my 3D.
Remember that PID the PID loop problems I was having last week?
Yes.
Yes. So I give up on that. It was the programming just wasn't any good, and I don't understand it enough right now to mess with it. So I went back to some regular. I guess it would be proportional, where you're pretty much just reading the encoder.
Yeah.
But actually, pretty much the speed. I mean, even though you set a speed on it, it's working real good. Straight line, man. We'll turn around, come back. I'm going to use it. I used it last time on the four corner, but now I understand. I can actually read this code and understand what's going on.
Well, that always helps.
Yes, it does. So, but what I end up doing is, just wanted to share this, is you know that as the batteries, I'm just using double A's. I don't have and I put 2 battery packs on there, 2 of those. Let me show you here. Anyway, as the batteries go down with this code program I'm using, the robot slows down.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it can actually affect how it turns. I ran into that problem. So here's my solution: is I'm putting another battery pack like that, another 12 volts in parallel on there. So it's got a lot of storage. But I'm adding this voltage regulator. And I thought I'm just gonna throw this out there and see what you guys think. I'm setting this. Actually, I got it right now at about 10 volts.
That's good.
Huh?
That's good. 10 or 9 volts.
Yeah, 10 or 9, and then these battery packs will be 12 volts in parallel. There'll be plenty of source juice to.
You might not need both battery packs. One might be enough.
If I do 9 volts.
Yeah.
Because
if you have 12 volts.
I'm at 10 volts right now on the regulator, and you think I might be able to just go down to 9? That's a 12 volt. These motors on here are rated for 12 volts.
Okay. Well, no, there's no problem going with 10. I mean, but if you're using the onboard regulator that's on the Uno, you're using an Uno, right, or a Mega?
Omega.
Okay, Omega. Well, I think it's the same regulator, but the ideal voltage for that is right around 9 volts.
Okay.
Okay, that's enough that it never runs into
Won't
problems.
lose your fingerprints if you touch it.
Right, but it also allows you to get the most amount of current out of your regulator. See, if you go up too high, then you waste a lot of potential wattage as heat. Because it's just a little linear regulator.
Well, so I'm definitely on the right track with that then.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Now, here's another thing you might want to consider, though. I've talked about these before, but I really do like these little lithium-ion AA batteries.
yeah.
They one of their characteristics is they don't last as long. That's one, but they also, as long as they last, they're 1.5 volts.
That's not the rechargeable. That's a real expensive one,
No,
right?
this is a rechargeable.
Oh, okay.
It's got a little, I don't know if you can see it. It's got a little port on. This one has it on the side. Some of them have them in the top. And anyway, I'm just saying that.
I might consider that.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah. If you're using AA batteries, I definitely recommend getting these because the cost of AA batteries will drive you nuts after a while.
Well, I know, because as I was testing my robot the other night, I noticed it would just set of brand new batteries, I could tell the robot's slowing down.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing that much testing, and so I thought, well, I better get a regulator on there and set the
Yeah.
the voltage.
How
Kinda
many?
low.
You want to make sure that the regulator can handle the amperage of your
It's
total
well,
load.
I don't know how many amps it is. I can look.
Yeah.
It's just what I got off of bought them on Amazon. 5 of them for I don't know. What,
Yeah, I want to say those are at least 2 amps.
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
Unless-
you're right. They are 2 amps. Now that you mention it.
Yeah.
So that should handle that load, wouldn't you think?
With those yellow motors, yeah, I think so.
No, these aren't yellow. These aren't yellows. These are these
okay.
guys. Yeah. I can answer yours.
Especially like on startup,
yeah,
if you're starting really fast or hard, you might draw more than that.
well,
I'm not using a ramp on it. I'm just low. There probably is a pretty good spike going there.
Punching
I
it.
think your biggest risk is a stall current.
yeah.
Yeah, it could go up to the stall current.
This regulator might be useful because it wouldn't supply the current for the stall. Those type of motors generally there's 2 types. You have what they call the normal, which will have a stall current of about 1 amp, and then they'll have one that's called a high power.
High power.
And that one usually stalls like 3 to 6 amps. So that's the one you got to be careful if you're using it. I don't know which ones you have.
I'm
So,
fixing to look it up.
Yeah.
I can see it I've got it on Amazon. Let's see, stall current.
Make us some coffee.
Yeah, I'm going to see. I see some coffee back there.
What?
We'll see. Probably not. But I'll let you guys know if I make any progress.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to interrupt you, Mike. I just was watching the picture.
I think Mike's still looking.
Oh, I'm trying to read. I don't see where it says no load. It doesn't have the stall current on here. I don't think.
Yeah, I had that problem on my motors too. I just don't know.
Yeah, I just I'm just glad they're trying.
And you have to be careful on some of those, depending on the gearbox and everything. If you stall them, they can actually burn the motor out pretty quick, surprisingly quick. Now, I don't. Again, that's some of those motors, not all of them, and it just depends on the one you have.
That's why it's kind of better to buy them from a Polo and stuff like that because you kind of know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, if you buy them from Polo, you got the whole smears, you got the whole curves and everything.
Oh, this doesn't tell me nothing.
Okay.
Anyway,
Stall current, if you measured the resistance between the terminals on the motor, you could probably get a good idea of what your stall current is if they don't tell you.
On the voltage?
Well, yeah, measure the resistance of the DC resistance of the winding and.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
But what I would say, Mike, just go ahead and do it and see what happens.
Yeah, because if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Right.
It hadn't stopped working yet, and I've done a lot of tweaking with this on the living room floor. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I got. I just want to show you that I threw a regulator in there, and that PID loop stuff it's way over my head for right now. So, and I like doing something and then actually, getting somewhere with it instead of just being frustrated all the time. So, this one I actually made some accomplishment.
Yeah.
I actually stole this code. I borrowed it from Spark Fund. It's on their website, so it works pretty good.
Okay.
So, I'm tweaking it to what I need for my motors and stuff,
Gotcha.
and so it works.
All
It
right.
just doesn't have
Yeah. Are you going to be at the practice session? You think?
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna do that
Everything will be available. Otherwise,
Okay, yeah, I'll show up.
yeah.
It's
I
next
mean,
Sunday, right?
yep.
Yeah, I'll show up and test it on that floor.
That'll give you some good feel. You'll get. There's nothing like uh, test running your robot. That's how you really get it to know whether or not it's going to work or not.
Right. So you think that just one battery pack would be fine?
My thought is most of the contests are over pretty quick. You know.
Oh, I know that.
So
And it puts extra weight on that robot too when you put another battery pack on there. So.
yeah.
Is it easy to unplug one and plug the other in? I mean, you could,
Yeah.
I've got them wired into
batteries as fresh as you can.
guy right here. These,
Mhm.
you know, these guys.
Oh, yeah.
Just take one out. See that?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just sitting on there right now. So
Yeah.
it's going to take it off real fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Double-sided sticky tape, carpet tape.
Yeah.
Just
That,
sucker down.
you know, glue dots.
Yeah.
They're my best friend.
Yeah. Or Velcro is another one I like to use for battery packs.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
All right, that's all I got.
Okay. All right. I guess we're all sitting here with bated breath to see what happens to the coffee machine.
I'm afraid not. I don't know. It's a weird thing going on with my gripper where they're out of line. You guys,
Well, just run it and let us see it.
yeah.
Explain to us what's supposed to happen.
All right. So now it's going to grab the cup after it calibrates. Okay, and it grabbed it wrong because of how the gripper's lined up, so it's probably going to accidentally drop the cup.
Okay.
But if it did have the cup, this would be where the syrup is added in. And then where the syrup and the coffee are mixed will be right here.
So what's this? What is this? What?
It's just a little
Stirrer?
Yeah, a little stirrer
Okay.
connected to a motor.
Got it?
And then this is where it will dispense the cap.
Okay. And then the last one is the cap pusher downer?
Doesn't look like there's been enough caps down, I guess.
Yeah.
And that is where it will drop the cup and the press will come down on top of it.
Okay. All right. Well, sounds like you're getting closer.
Yeah, getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm gonna go have a cup of coffee just because you showed us.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself. Could use a cup of coffee. All right. Okay, how grades going, Guy? Are you killing them, or are they killing you?
I'm sorry?
Jack, how are things going at school?
Acceptable. They're kind of killing me.
Oh, okay. Well, hang in there, Guy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, this is your sophomore year, right?
Senior.
Senior?
Yeah.
It hasn't been that long.
Yeah, no, it doesn't feel like that, does
It
it?
can't be that long. Can't be that long.
No.
God, you're a senior. Oh, man. God, it was just the other day.
I know.
Okay.
Like
All right. Well, that's cool. So, out June?
actually, this winter.
This winter, so December.
Yeah. Right.
2 semesters. Right.
I'm sorry?
So there's okay. Yeah, just 1 semester. You're halfway there.
Yeah, 1 semester after this.
Oh, you're in summer school.
I am doing summer school.
Okay, and then 1 more semester. Gotcha.
Right.
All right, cool. That is neat. I want to know, guys like Ray, would you have thought that he was a senior?
Nope.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was just can't believe it.
Well, I guess like, you know, COVID was what, 2 years,
Yeah.
maybe 2.5 years. So, and
Well, that's true. Well, let me ask you this, Jack. Are you got any plans? What do you have you made any plans for post graduation?
Not yet. I was gonna try applying for a bunch of jobs this summer.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So no, you're not going to go spend a year off touring the Himalayas or anything like that.
First, I got to build up money to be able to get a tour of the Himalayas.
It's okay, gotcha. All
can you
right.
still get reasonable tickets though? You know, airline tickets?
Yeah, until
Yeah.
24.
What's that?
Until
I
I
turn
turn
24.
24.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's a deal.
That is a deal.
So how reasonable is reasonable? You fly first
Free.
class everywhere
Yeah.
you go, or
If you can, but that's not too common.
not too common?
Yeah, you just get put on a standby list, and if there's an open seat, you get on it for free.
Oh, okay. Oh, for
Yeah.
free. Wow,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that is cool.
that's a deal.
Yeah, it's been nice.
Yeah.
I am tempted to go work for an airline company after this. I was looking at jobs there. It looks like there's some opportunities.
You mean like Boeing or?
Like United.
Oh, okay. So you're
But I'll still
actually
get the free
talking about
flight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that is cool too.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Do you wear glasses? I mean, could you be a pilot if you wanted to?
I think I could. I wear cheaters every now and then, but aside from that,
Okay.
yeah, I think I probably could.
Yeah.
Do they even still have that restriction? I mean, do you have to have 20/20 vision to be a pilot, or?
I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to ask my dad about that.
Yeah, I would think that would knock out a lot of the older, more experienced pilots. You know.
Yeah, even he depends on glasses now that I think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe that's why.
I think that 20/20 vision thing comes into, let's say, if you're in the Air Force or something.
Oh, okay.
I know a few Air Force pilots, and they're like 20/10. So they're looking for the aberration the other way, so you can see a really long way without having corrective lenses and that kind of thing. Or at least, if I remember, I got a neuron fire that says if you're going to fly jet, the fighter jets, you can't have any vision problems at all. And in fact, you need to have better than normal vision. But if you're flying like the cargo planes and that kind of stuff, I think there's people with glasses all day long. It has to do with responsive and action and all that kind of stuff, as you might imagine. At least that's what I remember. I could be wrong about that, so that's not gospel.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
I know color blindness knocked me out of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Doug, is that a beer or is it coffee?
What's that?
Is that beer or coffee?
Oh, that's coffee. My Nespresso machine
Yeah.
makes that little foam on top.
It's rubbing it in that his coffee machine works.
Not rubbing it in. You made me thirsty. So I had some.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't. Speaking of beer, wasn't there was some sort of like beer tasting or beer making competition, and they had a bunch of tasters in a room after. It was around the same time we did one of our contests.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that or not.
I can't. That was always one of those gray areas at the makerspace, because if you had beer on the premises, there was certain rules that could be tripped, that you could end up in bukus of trouble, losing your building permit, and so they were. They wanted to have people that were brewers, but they couldn't really support them there at the space.
Mm.
No wood cutting machines while you're drinking.
Yeah, we're into I think you're right. I think, Doug, that their insurance also kicked in if there was alcohol on the premises, and even though that stuff was generally small quantities, and it was only the people that made it drank it. There was like a club. So, but there's a couple of things that another one is reloading. That was something that a lot of people were interested in, but the idea of having the potential of having a firearm or bullets on is not a good fit. Not a good fit for makerspace. So.
Yeah, the other thing they frowned upon was making firearms in the machine shop.
Yeah.
They had signs up everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that's because the reason for that is because people were making those lowers. The key component to the AR-15. They were. I guess it's the receiver.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That low body where everything comes together, that's the only got a serial number on it. You can buy every other part you want, as many as you want. Those receivers, if they don't have a serial number on it, which I made of somebody who claims to have one of those, but I don't know for sure. That's the gun. If you just show somebody that, and they're like, hey, and you're not supposed to have it or whatever, you could get arrested or whatever it is, and you might not have a complete gun.
Yeah, and there's a lot of kits where you can, they basically give you a block that's been milled out to kind of like starting position, and then you finish it out.
Yeah.
So there's, I can understand why that would not be, because the machine shop could definitely do that without any problem. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No ghost.
I have the MIT App Inventor on my computer. I'm open right now. I could share it and sort of talk about it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll
computer. Volume 1. My Amazon responds to the word computer because, I'm a Star Trek fan, so it just, I have to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
We had to do that too because we had too many of those little devices.
And so it's in here. So you just heard my Amazon kick up. So when I go for a bio break or refresh my water glass or something, my subscribers know this, and they've tried to order me play sand and other stuff, but I don't have it hooked up to do that. So they have it do weird things like change its voice and like you can't hear it now, but you can have it beatbox for you. Play red alerts if you haven't ever tried any of those things, tell your Amazon to play some beatbox for you, or tell it red alert, and you'll get all that stuff. It's lots of fun things.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna try that, Harold. I'm gonna go in the other room while my wife's sleeping, and I'm gonna go ahead red alert, and let's see what happens.
Yeah,
okay.
And if you never back out next week, I will know what happened. Well, it worked.
Okay, Mike, let's go. Here he is.
Okay, so this is the interface that you have, and this is what I have to control my 6-pack robot. And there's one button to run 6-scan. Everything else is manual control and calibration stuff. And what you do is you go over here and you click a user interface, like a button, and you drag it into here, and you got a button. And then you go program the button over here, and this is where the juice is here. Like when I click on like the stop button, it's going to send a value over the Bluetooth to the robot, and then it puts it in stop mode when it's in manual. So this is how it's done, is with these little graphical interfaces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the one, Doug, that I was telling you about. But like I say, try Adafruit too, because like I say, I think they already have something set up for people.
Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just download it to your phone.
Basically, I mean, when you do, see, you point your phone at this, and then it downloads.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But there's a way to create a hard-coded one that just lives on the phone permanently. Because this is basically a temporary download. When your phone turns off, you have to do it again. So it doesn't.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
Well, they do have a way to do permanent ones.
You can turn it into a persistent one.
Yeah.
That actually downloads it. But it's for development. You know, okay, I made some changes, and then click, and then the phone's updated. So it's good for development mode.
Right. That's pretty cool.
Okay.
Cool.
That was just my little.
All right.
Thanks for the update. That's cool to look at it in person.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I see it is now 9:03. Does anybody have anything else they want to say, or should we cut it off here?
Life is good.
Life is good. Okay. All right then.
All right. Thank you,
Adios,
everybody.
guys. See you Sunday. Sunday.
Oh wait,
Either.
what's going on Sunday?
We're
Practice.
having a Robo-Rama practice between 10 and 3 in the interactive
okay.
room. So,
Oh, okay. At the makerspace.
yeah, get the makers.
All right.
You'll be thirsty.
All right.
Coffee
Yeah.
machine might be difficult to get over there.
And if we all get up there and we want to, maybe we can go get a pizza or something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.